What is up, you guys? It is Zach and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing WarioWare Get It Together. I know obviously this game came out almost a month ago, which is kind of crazy to think about, but obviously I decided I wanted to talk about this game because I want to do more game reviews about games that I've played recently, whether they're new or old. And I got some cool reviews planned for you guys, so hopefully you guys enjoy this kind of content. And if you do, please drop a like and just say you want to see me do more reviews, because obviously your feedback about these reviews will help me in the future with making more of them. So without any further ado, let's get started with the actual review. Now, it's kind of crazy to think that this is the first main WarioWare installment since WarioWare Smooth Moves all the way back in 2006 on the Wii. It's kind of crazy to think that it's just been that long. Yes, I don't count Game & Wario, just simply because it's not a mainline WarioWare game. But, you know, even then, you know, WarioWare Gold, which came out back in 2018, I believe, was a remake, kind of. It was like a best-of collection, and then also we had Game & Wario before that, and then DIY before that. So it's been so long since we've actually gotten a new WarioWare game, and it feels very good because WarioWare is one of my favorite Nintendo franchises. It's actually one of my most non-talked about Nintendo franchises on this channel, just because we haven't seen it in a while. There's not really been anything new WarioWare-wise, and it's kind of a shame. But that all ends now because, obviously, we got WarioWare Get It Together, and, well, I'm going to review it here for you guys, obviously. So, does it live up to the expectations that I've personally had for it, given that we haven't had a WarioWare game in so long, or does it just completely fall flat? Let's get right into the review. So the story is that Wario and his friends are developing a video game, and each one of them are working on a specific part of that video game, but unfortunately that video game has a lot of bugs, and those bugs suck all the characters or all the developers into it. So now it is your task to get rid of all these bugs and rescue all your friends. Each character has a different themed world and vibe, with Mona's being Just Life, where you're doing mundane, basic tasks, and you have 9-volt section where basically you are playing Nintendo classics. You are playing, you know, just classic video games, and it's a lot of fun. And like I mentioned, you rescued characters throughout the story, and these characters that you rescue become part of your team. And each character has a different moveset, like Cricket being a basic platforming character where you can move along an X-axis and basically just jump, and you have 15-volt, which uses her spear to teleport herself across the screen and interact with objects. Now, I actually played the story mode originally multiplayer with Chris from GameXplain, and we had a lot of fun with it. It's obviously chaotic fun trying to work together with someone else on these microgames, but it's also fun to play in single player as well. That is the amazing part about this game. It's not like some games like Luigi's Mansion 3 where you felt like the co-op gimmick was just really tacked on and just made things mundane in my personal opinion. It's basically an optional thing. You get the same experience, the same fun experience without having to worry about switching between another character or doing anything like that. It's just a lot of fun. And something else about this campaign that I actually think is also really good is that it's pretty short and sweet. It took us about 6 hours perhaps to complete the whole campaign, and I think it was a well spent 6 hours. It was a lot of fun. Some people might say that 6 hours is just too short for a story mode, but for a game like this, it doesn't really need anything longer than 6 hours. As I mentioned earlier, the story mode experience can be played with 2 players, and it is a lot of fun, but the real meat and potatoes of WarioWare's multiplayer experience has always been and still is in the multiplayer specific mode in this game called the Variety Pack. The Variety Pack is filled with a bunch of different games, each one ranging between 1 to 4 players, and it's just a lot of fun. Each game is different and fun in its own way, and again, I got to play all of these games with my good buddy Chris from GameXplain, and we posted a whole video of us playing a few of these modes up on my channel. If you want to watch it, please click the card that's right above the screen right now, and you'll get to watch it. But basically, like I mentioned, each mode is different and fun in its own way. Our personal favorites being Rising Star, a game where you compete in microgames to see who can survive longer, or who can complete the microgame first, depending on which mode you choose. And Balloon Burst, where players try to pop a balloon while the other players are playing a microgame, and the objective is to pop the balloon while another player is playing a microgame and they will lose. Each mode has its own amount of fun, and even the ones we didn't personally care for weren't too horrible. They were just forgettable at worst. And honestly, for a game with all these multiplayer focused games, having the worst ones being just forgettable is actually a pretty good compliment. There are a decent amount of reasons to come back and play WarioWare Get It Together after you initially beat its 6-hour campaign and play through all the multiplayer modes, but there's nothing absolutely amazing that'll bring you back. Of course, there's just the natural nature of multiplayer games being pulled out at parties where you can just play the game with your friends because it is a very fun time and definitely is a game that you will want to pull out every now and again at parties. But there are other things as well, like these unlockable items called Prezis, where basically, it's hard to explain without laughing, but basically you give a certain amount of Wario coins, which are the currency you earn in this game, and you can get these presents that you can give to the WarioWare cast. And using these presents on the characters will help unlock different cosmetic options for them, like you can make Krygor look like a baby with a little baby face, or you can make Spitz look like a zombie. There's lots of really cool customization options, but that's mostly what they just are, customization options. There's no enhancements to their abilities or any upgrades to them. It's mostly just cosmetic, which actually does make sense, but even still, it would have been cool to see, certain characters maybe get upgrades or, just general improvements. But getting to mess around with the colors is pretty fun as well. There's also a weekly online challenge for you to complete every single week called the Wario Cup, where basically each week is a specific challenge, and the better you do, the more Wario coins you get, and you can also place and rank up. And of course, you earn Wario coins that can be used on the Prezis, so if you're into doing all the cosmetic stuff and changing all the colors of the characters and just unlocking all the unlockable art, then I'd highly recommend you try out all these modes. You can earn a lot of Wario coins that way, and it'll be really easy for you to unlock everything. So one critique I have is that there's no way to just play every single microgame in a rotation, like a kind of mega mix mode, unless you go into the story mode and go to one of the remix sections. I personally think right in the Playopedia there should be like a play all button where you can play every single microgame from every single mode in just one rotation. Like I said, I know the remix mode offers that, but there should just be something right in the Playopedia that lets you do that. Also, there's no way for you to restart a playthrough if you're not doing well. So for instance, if you pause the game, there is no option to just restart. You have to either exit the game, so you'll just completely quit altogether, or wait until you lose all your lives. I wish there was a way that you could just restart, just giving that simple option if you know you're not doing well, rather than just quitting altogether. Have a simple restart button so you can just go right to the very start. Also, this is a very minor nitpick, but some characters are just way too tricky to use for certain microgames within the time limit, because as you guys know, as you progress, it gets more difficult and speeds up more the further you go along. And there's certain characters that are just way too hard to use for specific microgames, because it does get very hard, and sometimes it does feel unfair. Now, of course, challenge is always great because it gives you a sense of accomplishment once you learn how to use a specific character. But I do think there is a limit to almost unfairness specifically for characters like 9volt, who doesn't stop moving, or like Cat and Anna. They just feel really hard to use in a lot of instances, and I do think it can be unfair. Another critique is that you cannot play this game online multiplayer with friends. The only online mode is the leaderboard mode where you're, doing the Wario Cup. And that is quite unfortunate. I do wish that you could play online with friends. But I guess that is a relatively small thing, given that it is probably better as a couch co-op game anyways. Overall though, WarioWare Get It Together is an absolutely great time. It's probably one of the better WarioWare games that are out there, and I've played almost all of them. The only one I missed out on was the DS one, WarioWare Touched. But out of all the ones I've played, this definitely ranks up there with one of my favorites. I was initially concerned with the whole fact that you play as the characters in each microgame, that it would complicate things, and it does to some extent, but it does not take away from the chaotic fun that WarioWare just always presents. So that's why I'm giving this game an 8.5 out of 10. It is a lot of fun with not much replayability for those of you who might just want to sit through and play it once and be done with it, but I highly recommend it to people who want a fun multiplayer experience that you can sit down on the couch on and have a good time with friends. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All that stuff down below. Click on the notification bell so you're notified of when I upload videos. And check out the merch store. There's some cool ZakPak merch up on there for you to check out. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.